Okay, well, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How's everybody doing? Did anybody see the travesty, I'll call it, maybe it's an extreme word, but I was in the back of the room just now, and apparently you guys weren't eating enough breakfast, and they threw away a whole tray of bacon.
No.
The whole restaurant tray of bacon. So we're all in the back of the room with little tears running down our eyes.
Save the bacon.
Save the bacon. So if we're having BLTs for lunch, that's probably where it came from.
I mean, you can even cover it in chocolate. My goodness.
Let me call downstairs and suggest that to the chef.
Do you have any more?
I do.
Thank you.
Sure thing.
I'll run down and start melting some now.
Well, I'm Gus Wagner. I own the Rocket Group. We are a marketing firm here in Jefferson City. We'll go into a little bit about that for a second. Thank you for having me. Charlie, thank you for inviting me to be here. I probably did have the shortest drive. Actually, Randy Allen lives about 3 doors from me, so he probably had a little bit shorter to come over here this morning than I did. So we're going to cover, I think it was called social media for individuals in the program. I really call these kind of talks social media works. Social media works. And social media works if you work at it and allow it to work for you. Otherwise, it's just social media, it's just a toy. Social media is a communications tool. We're going to get into that. Like I said, we're going to go to about 11:15, then we'll break for lunch, and then we'll get back in this room, I think at 1:30 for a social media conversation more focused on organizations and what organizations can do, how to use these tools to benefit you as the organization. But welcome to JCMO. Hashtag JCMO is our hashtag, so if you're tweeting or Facebooking, want to give a shout out to everything that you're enjoying here in our capital city, please use that hashtag so the neighbors know you're here. Who are you guys? Can you tell me who you are, where you're from, and what you do back home?
Kristen from the Springfield Chamber, and I do special events.
I'm Chelsea Hayes with the Lake Area Chamber, and I'm the office manager.
Cool.
I'm Lori Tainer with the Greater St. Charles County Chamber, and I do a lot of our social media, but I do a special event, and I also do member services.
Great.
Charlie Hinderletter with the St. Louis Regional Chamber. I do public policy, but I also do most of our social media.
Great. And Charlie's already retweeted me once today, so he's already 1 point ahead. I am keeping score.
I'm Cynthia Marlowe. I'm our membership director and member success strategist for Joplin Area Chamber. I do membership sponsorships, relationships, and member education.
I like that title, Membership Success.
Member success strategist. I made it
Wow.
up myself.
Oh, wow. That's great. You were empowered
But
to
I
do that.
officially got our organization to change it, so.
Yeah. I own the company, so my title's head bottle washer. How about over here?
Hi, I'm Janet Akers from the Branson Chamber of Commerce, and I'm a membership and retention.
Great. But you're changing it now to membership strategy, right?
Right. Yeah, I'll give you one of my cards. You can take the title back.
I'm Shelley Voorhaven. I'm also with the Branson Chamber, and I'm the marketing and communications manager, which includes social media.
I'm Ann Elwell from Springfield Chamber of Commerce, and I'm in communications.
Great. Well, very good. Well, thanks for being here this morning. I know you had some choices to make, and you chose wisely. So who are you? Who are me? Like I said, I'm Gus Wagner. I own the Rocket Group. I've been in the business world and sales and marketing functions for more than 23 years now. This slide is about to be changed because of anniversaries and such. But I've worked all across the country, but mainly focused on Missouri, and doing sales and marketing and communications efforts over the last 23 years. 14 of those last 23 years, I've owned the Rocket Group. We've been launching success stories for businesses, organizations, and nonprofits for the last 14 years since 2001. Some of you may know me from another business card. Concurrent with those 14 years, I did serve the great people of the great state of Missouri as the Chief of Staff of the Missouri State Senate, representing Senator Dan Clemens, working with Senator Dan Clemens from Marshfield, Missouri, the former 20th District that's been chopped up and moved around. He did such a good job, everybody wanted a piece of it when they redrew the district lines. Now represented by Senator Lawson and Senator Cunningham and Senator Dixon, all from Springfield area down there. And by the way, I own my company, and my capital office will be the coolest office I ever have, overlooking the Missouri River and the airport and such. It's actually directly above the governor's office, so I had a better view than he did. He has trees blocking his windows. And I've also been a lifetime community dude. I've lived here in Jefferson City for almost 12 years now. And before that, I was in Franklin County outside of Washington, Missouri. I was active in chamber organizations there. I was on the chamber board of directors, just retired from that at the beginning of this year, did my 3-year stint with the Jefferson City Chamber of Commerce as well. So always been involved in the community. When I say all this is I get what you guys are trying to do. I know the people you're trying to communicate to. I know the messages that you're trying to communicate to them. So more importantly, and most specifically for this, I'm a 5-time certified social media strategist. We've worked with Fortune 100 firms like MasterCard and Phillips 66, down to local small proprietorships, and even chamber organizations like yours to achieve social media success. So what are we going to talk about today? First off, we're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Secondly, and these are a couple bullet points. I'm not big on bullet points. I think there's a wrinkle on the screen because I know those were straight lines when I designed that. But we're going to talk about the big 6 of social media. We're going to talk about things to don't do. We're going to talk about share and like, one good unfriend, and security now. And your questions are always welcome. If you have a question, something doesn't make sense, something sounds like I'm selling a load of crap, no need to raise up your hand, no need to do anything. You say, hey Gus, that sounds like a load of crap, let's talk about that for a second. So, did anybody have any questions before we come in? Several of you sent questions in, we sent a survey out before that, and I don't know if anybody in this room filled out that survey, responded to that survey.
Saw it.
I never saw.
Okay, well several folks did, several folks did. Okay, any questions you came into the room with? Burning social media questions, obstacles, challenges, successes that you want to brag about? Okay. Well, to me, this is my opinion at this point, but specifically working in Missouri, focused in the communities in Missouri, the big 6 of social media are Pinterest, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. Raise your hand if you don't have a profile either for yourself or for your chamber on all of these big 6. What are you missing?
The only thing that our chamber has a profile on is LinkedIn and Facebook.
Okay.
We're missing all the rest.
All
I
right.
don't think we're ever on Pinterest.
We're not on Pinterest or Instagram or YouTube.
Okay.
We're represented on all of them, but I thought they took the LinkedIn for business and I thought they took it away.
No, it's LinkedIn for Business. The business pages on LinkedIn are still very vibrant.
Because every time I post,
Mm-hmm.
it's from me.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, well maybe we'll talk after
Okay.
class. Anybody over here? You've got all 6? You're doing all 6? You're kicking butt at all 6? And you know, what's your extra?
Periscope.
Periscope.
Oh, we got that too.
Wow, you got Periscope too? Great. That's 3 of us in the room, right? That Periscope?
We don't have Instagram.
Okay. We're all, the 3 of us on Periscope are missing the Periscope Summit, which is happening in New York right now as we do that. So if you're looking at your screen, I know you're watching that instead of what's happening right here in this room.
My frustration with Instagram, and I may be jumping ahead, but I need to be able to do a lot of that desktop-wise rather than mobile.
Right.
And I've heard there's an app.
There's a lot of workarounds. Let me rephrase that. There's a lot of shady workarounds to posting to Instagram for the desktop. None of them I would recommend at this point. Instagram hasn't opened up their API, the behind the curtains to anything except advertising at this point. So third-party developers don't have full access to make those third-party posts like you can for Twitter or Facebook or the other platforms. So they want to keep it at a mobile-friendly, preeminent platform at this point. Even Hootsuite, who, full disclosure, I'm a Hootsuite ambassador. I get nothing out of it except I get to talk in their Hoot chats and stuff. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a second too. They've recently rolled out they call it an integration with Instagram. But even so, all it does is you schedule it, then it pings you as a reminder to go grab that information and post it. So it's more of an alarm clock than it is a scheduling tool or a third-party posting tool. So Maybe someday, but not yet for third-party posting to Instagram or desktop publishing to Instagram.
Can I voice another
Sure.
concern, and
Sure.
maybe you all have a solution? I have 2 accounts of everything. I have a personal side and then I have the chamber side, because I don't want to mix my personal life with my business life. So I'm always having to switch, and like with Instagram, I haven't found a way to switch.
The easiest way is to buy 2 phones.
Yeah.
Honestly,
And then you gotta
really.
carry 2 phones.
Yeah, it is.
Which I have.
That's another downfall, but it is logging in, logging back out. There's not, again, Instagram hasn't come to that point yet. Instagram is a marketing tool for full-bore communications, full-bore promotions, full-bore advertising. Has been at the Fortune 100 level until the last maybe 4 weeks, since they've opened up to everybody to advertise on there. So they haven't had the direct need to open it up to desktop publishing and being able to switch multiple profiles and things like that. The multiple profiles will happen before the desktop publishing happens.
Well, that'd be help.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a really, really high look at these big 6 social media platforms. What's changed, what's new, what's working, what tips I can give you to succeed, to have greater success stories across these platforms. And again, if you have anything that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear your success stories, what you're doing, because we're all here to learn from each other. So Facebook. Facebook is the big bad kid on the block. More than 1.2 billion people across the world access Facebook on a monthly basis. That's like 1/5 of the population of the world. It's more than half of the world that has internet access. They're all on Facebook. In Missouri, I'll show you some numbers in a little bit. In Missouri, it's almost 53% of Missourians from all ages, from 18 and above, access Facebook on a monthly basis. So, forever. Facebook's it's 11 years old now, give or take a couple days. If you're going to be communicating in Missouri, no matter if you're St. Louis or our smaller communities, you've got to be on Facebook, because that's where your audience is, that's where they're most active. There's niches on all the other platforms, there's different demographics on all the other platforms, but for the biggest shotgun approach to reach the most amount of people, you're going to have to do it on Facebook. So never ignore Facebook. It's not going away. The thing that's constant about Facebook, especially over these last 11 years, is the constant change. They are constantly tweaking, it's constantly changing. They just had a Facebook town hall last week, which we'll talk about in a second, or the most important part of that, and the most newsworthy part of that town hall last week, where Mark Zuckerberg stood up there in his beige t-shirt and took questions and answers and such, and everybody asked for all these different things. And he said, well, no, we're not going to work on what you're working with, because we know what's working, what our users are using at the scale, the 1.5 billion people scale. They're going to make those changes that impact the entire world of Facebook. The constant on Facebook is change. So what has changed recently? Well, the algorithm, the mathematical formula that powers Facebook, changes on a daily basis, in small ways and large ways. We've all seen our organic reach so the last year and a half or so, when we're making posts on our Facebook pages. Maybe we were used to be reaching 20 to 30% if you were very, very good. You were reaching 20 to 30% of your audience just by making a post. Now you're probably somewhere below 5%, most likely to 1.5 to 3% on an organic post. Is anybody having higher than 3% on average of all your organic posts? You guys know what I mean when I say organic post? An organic post is, I just put a post out there, whether it was words, pictures, videos, whatever, I just posted it, and it sat there. I didn't boost it, I didn't mention anybody, I didn't tag anybody. It's just an organic post, just like you would make to your personal page.
And Facebook doesn't like anything but organic posts.
Oh no, Facebook loves for you to advertise.
But they don't like Hootsuite or Buffer or those kind of
The third party posts, we'll talk about that in the next session. The third party posts do show, studies have shown, and just another study was just shown that they surveyed 500 million Facebook posts over a month all across the platform. It's third party posts are much, even less than 1.5% organic reach. But we'll talk about the workarounds on that, and I'm sure everybody knows that. So the algorithm is constantly changing. The algorithm changes because Facebook realizes that the money that they make is directly related to the second bullet point, is advertising, and you can charge more for advertising and get more advertisers on Facebook if us regular citizens, us regular Missourians, us regular Americans or world citizens, whatever, are spending more time on our personal Facebook feed if we're seeing quality stuff. So the algorithm punishes junk posts. The algorithm punishes posts that are getting negative reactions, that people are using the little X out keys and such. If people are Xing out, that's going to go to the bottom of the post. They're going to punish you if you're not active on Facebook. Maybe you're posting once a month. Your post is not going to be seen by anybody, hardly. The algorithm is constantly changing because Facebook overall wants every personal user, because that's the consumer, they want that person to have a very enjoyable experience and they're currently spending more than 21 minutes at a time on Facebook across the world. They want you to spend even more time on Facebook than 21 minutes at a time. So the more enjoyable the experience is, just as how we use Facebook for our personal lives, our personal enjoyment, that they want you to be doing that for longer periods of time. Make sense? So that's why the algorithm is always going to be tweaked in favor of the consumer, not the marketer, not the business page, not the nonprofit, not whatever, not even the advertiser. Something else that you've probably seen over the past couple, 2 months or so, it's been very active, is the prompts to share. When you log in the morning on your phone or your desktop, you're going to see a prompt, hey, here's the anniversary, you've been friends with so-and-so for 7 years, or this is what you were doing this day on Facebook 3 years ago, and such, and it's encouraging you to share, because they want you to reconnect or tag other people, or say, hey Pat, we were friends for 10 years, or actually about 10 minutes now, I guess, on Facebook. So you're encouraging that interaction between folks. They want you to again, express those memories. By the way, today is Throwback Thursday. So I'm sure you all have stuff, what happened in St. Joe 20 years ago, those posts ready to go as well. So they want you to share your memories, your stories, your friendships, and they're being more proactive in that. And that's a good thing. Another thing that's changing is the emergence of organic video on Facebook, and however you say it, I prefer GIF, or GIF is the other popular way to say it. The short form videos of cats falling off of things and people falling down, the America's Home Video of the internet in the GIF format. So those are becoming more popular on Facebook. So you can upload, and I highly recommend not dropping in your YouTube links or your Vimeo links and such, but upload that video directly to Facebook. And that video, they're weighting, the algorithm is highly weighting organic video uploads from pages and from personal profiles. If you can upload video organically, you're going to have a much greater success rate. And plus, it'll be there in your video library as well. It's going to constantly be in your page, so you can continue to use it, share it, repost it, advertise from it, so on and so forth. And the GIFs are only available on personal profiles at this point, because if every business had the power to post those type of memes on the internet, the Facebook personal experience would be very convoluted. So I recommend caution when using GIFs. I'm just going to say GIFs. I highly recommend using caution with that when that becomes available for the business pages. The big thing to come out of the Facebook town hall last week was the big news story about the potential for a dislike button. And that's what it was immediately branded. I think that's how the question was worded, but Mr. Zuckerberg never said it was going to be called a dislike button. What Facebook doesn't want to become is a bastion for negativity. They want you to have, again, a positive personal experience when you're on there navigating your personal newsfeed. You've already got enough trouble with people commenting